Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got, it's not really an unboxing. One of the knives inside of this cloth is a knife that you have not seen before, and one of them is a knife you have seen before, fairly recently. I want to take this opportunity to talk about something that I have touched on a couple of times, but I want to try and drive this point home because this is really something I would like to see, and I think it's something that a lot of other people would like to see as well. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. The knife that I'm going to talk about today is actually available. I'll try and link it down below. I would, before you jump on it, because a lot of people are going to go, oh, I want it, just, don't do it just yet. Let me talk about it here. So, let me open this up here. The first one, like I said, is a knife that you've seen, and that is the AGA Camplin. This is a 9-inch swinguard stiletto. The one that you have not seen is a much larger. This is an AKC 11-inch swinguard. Oh, shiny, big, right? Okay. This guy, I think the standard versions, like I'm sorry, when these are available, they cost about $150 to $180, something like that. The build quality on the AGA Camplin is beautiful. These are made in Italy, very similar to the way that the original classics were made. This is a 2019 model. This guy I'm pretty sure this was made here very recently. I got this on PVK Vegas. Neither of these are made with steels that would be considered super steels, or even steels that would be, by modern standards on like modern tactical knives, they wouldn't be considered appropriate, right? This is 440C, which is, that's about as good as you can expect, right? For a swinguard. And this is 440 something, which basically just means, junk. If it's not, like 440C is about where it's acceptable, but usually on a much less expensive knife. 440A and B are kind of bleh, right? G10, and this one has some features that are interesting that I haven't normally seen on these types of knives, like an adjustable pivot, right? G10, which is interesting, right? I don't normally see that. It's freaking huge, and the power on it is okay. It's got a safety. The fit and finish on this is not very good. And, this knife, by the way, costs about $143. And wow, it looks like it's mirror polished. Well, it's got a high polish, but you can see all these little marks in here. It kind of came with these scratches, right? Kind of came with a junky looking fuller. It's got a little bit of blade play. In the closed position, it's off center, but you can kind of move it, right? You can kind of slop it around. The AGA Camplin is of much higher quality. And somebody asked me about the centering on this one. The centering on this one is actually very good. And the lockout solidity is also good. There's no play in the blade. There's no play in the guard. These are solid, right? This guy, the whole knife is a little bit rattly. Also, the leaf spring is surprisingly thin and dainty, whereas the spring in this guy is much more robust, right? The general fit and finish of the AJ is much better. The truth is that both of these, when you can find them brand new, are almost the same price. I mean, let's say this is about $180 and this guy's about $143. All right. Here's what I want to say. Both of these sorry, I had to shut my office door. Both of these knives they're cool, and there's like a whole different sub-community of people who love this stuff, right? That's great. And I think that this stuff should continue to be made the way that it is to cater to the people who like these types of builds the way that they are. However, something that we have not seen in the modern knife world that absolutely has grown in certain areas by evolving the style of classic knives into modern knives, right? I'm going to get people complaining about, don't change anything. We like things to stay the way that they are, and we don't want them to change. Great, that's fine. There's so much stuff out there that will cater to you. You can sit there and enjoy it in your little bubble, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Evolution in certain areas can happen without affecting past markets with healthy communities, right? This stuff will always exist in this form, and you can continue to enjoy it and buy it. I am flabbergasted that no one, and I mean no one, has actually attempted to make a modern tactical swing guard. I'm not talking about swing guards that just have slightly more modern materials that are essentially still swing. No, what we almost like, for example, some of the nicest ones that are readily available that you can get in this category are like the Latamas. $400, $500, $600, $700. Guess what they're using? 440C and like stag horn and wood. Okay, that's great. If that's what you like, that's great. That's fine. I would really like to see one with modern super steel. I'd like to see one with actual screws and not pins. I think most of us can agree that a pin construction is pretty problematic, right? It's like if something goes wrong, you're like, well, darn. A screw construction would be better. There are multiple knives out there, like in Kershaw's launch series. They have a couple of launch models that resemble swivel guard Italian stilettos. That's not what I'm talking about, right? Those are there, but they don't actually function like swivel guards. They're just, you push a button and then it releases, right? And then there are knives like, for example, the ProTech Godfather that are kind of like modern tactical versions and kind of look like the old Italian. What I want to see very specifically, no matter what example you throw at me, this does not exist. It does not exist. And I would love for it to exist, right? I'm not saying I'm trying to rub a magic lamp and just be like, I command some company to make this, because I am certain that there are problems. I am certain that companies have looked into this and thought, do we really want to go out of our way to try and make something that might be problematic, combining elements of the past with elements of our knives and just trying to force it, to work? I'm sure that there are problems, and that's probably the reason that we haven't seen it yet. But I think it would be really cool, for example, if you took one of the best platforms for a potential swing guard would be like the ProTech Godfather. Obviously, the blade would have to be altered. You can see how this works, right? I know people are going to say, yeah, but do we need it? Yeah, but do we need it? Are you really have to ask that question? Do we need it? This knife world is filled with things that nobody would ever need. That question is answered thoroughly. That question is a man with a wiffle bat standing on railroad tracks trying to stop a train. That train has come and gone, wiffle bat man. Please stand aside. No, we don't need it, but you can see here how these work. These swing guards, they swing and then they lay down on the side of the knife. Now, I'm not saying that ProTech needs to change this model to accommodate for a leaf spring, but it would be really cool if the blade height were raised a bit so that we could actually get a little swing guard on this, and maybe they could make the top of this flat, right? I mean, if you could imagine with me, just basic black aluminum with, I imagine the guard would have to be steel, right? But like a sapphire guard and a sapphire PVD blade, right? Or even basic ones where you just have like a stonewashed guard and a stonewashed blade. It's not just Microtech that could do this. I think companies like Hogue, Benchmade, Microtech are perfectly capable. There are plenty of Chinese companies who could probably do it, but as we've kind of noticed, it's a little bit difficult for Chinese companies to mass produce automatic knives and then get them over into a market where people like American people are willing to buy them, right? That's part of the reason why we don't see it very often. Obviously, some companies are getting around that, right? But it doesn't have to. I don't really care who does it or who tries. I just think it would be amazing to see something like an aluminum or, let's say, carbon fiber with titanium bolsters and an M390 blade or S45EN blade or a MagnaCut blade. Something that takes on the aesthetic of this style, but is entirely modern. I am certain that this could be, done the same way. I mean, it's not like you'd have to change the system where, like the ProTechs use a coil spring. It could still absolutely use a coil spring and use a button, right? And it could be disengaged with that same button, right? They could have even a sliding safety just to be kind of that classic thing. I feel like this is a missed opportunity. And I think, some people are going to get confused and suggest, or they're going to think that I'm suggesting that this is a knife that everybody wants. No, there is no knife on the market that every single person wants. Even the most popular knives out there only cater to a specific percentage of people. What I'm saying is that there are a ton of people who would be interested in a modern swinguard just because it's a swinguard. It doesn't need to fit in any particular role. I understand, the original design of stuff like this. These are kind of designed as weapons, right? But the vast majority of people will just appreciate them for the thing that they are, which is a knife that has a guard that swings up from the side. I think that's really, really interesting. And it is in no way different from some of the excess elements that we experience on modern knives today, right? Do we need knives that operate with magnets? No, but we have them. Do we need karambits that just spring out of nothing and are backwards? No, we don't need any of that, right? We got all that stuff, though. It's there, and it is wildly popular with some people. I really feel like that, considering how much of a staple these styles of knives are when it comes to the history of the knife world, I am just shocked that we have never seen a true, evolution of this knife, right? If you look at how Lion Steel has done their slip joints and, sort of adapted and utilized modern materials like titanium, carbon fiber, right? Some of that stuff is really good. I would argue that that's some of Lion Steel's best stuff. Finch Knife Co. also has done a great job of taking the classic look of a traditional knife and turning them into frame lock flippers. And there's a ton of people who enjoy those. I mean, I have countless examples. I'm just really, really shocked. And the main reason I'm saying this is that there are so many of these style knives that are hovering around the $100 to $200 territory. And the truth is that their overall quality, their build construction compared to modern tactical knives at the same price point, it's just absolute crap. This knife, if it were, let's say I got a Benchmade bug out that had similar fit and finish, right? I mean, like similar grind and similar everything, right? Let's say I bought a Benchmade bug out, but it had the fit and finish of this. It would be abysmal, right? But what I've found is that in this community, when it comes to these, there's just a lot more that's just accepted. There's a lot more like loosey-goosey, flimsy, this or that, that's just like, yeah, that's just kind of how it is, right? The AGA Campolin is 100% the better product, but even this has some goofy stuff, like the rounded tip. The grind is a little, right? The fit and finish is pretty good, and it's definitely got a better spring. It's definitely a lot more solid, right? But compared to modern tactical knives that are in the same price point, this would be considered lackluster, right? Even as one of the better ones. It's my understanding, a lot of times you do have to spend $400, $500, $600 to get the same level of fit and finish that we expect from the $100 to $200 territory, even when we're talking about American pocket knives, like from Benchmade. Now, whether I'm right on the money or not, maybe there's, things that maybe I have goofball versions, but like AKC, this is like the second time I bought an AKC, I'm sorry, is it ACK? Yeah, AKC. Second time I bought an AKC in 15 years, right? I mean that. The first time I bought something from AKC was 15 years ago. This was brand new when I bought it. This is a brand new, it was probably produced within the last year. This is the same garbage quality that I remember from 15 years ago, right? That might sound a little bit harsh, but man, I feel like this is a huge opportunity for somebody to make something really cool and really unique. And I would just love to see it. As an enthusiast knife collector, I think it would be awesome, right? Again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm demanding that some company do this, right? But whoever steps up and does it, if somebody actually does it, I think there's a pretty big opportunity there. So that's really all I wanted to say today. Let me know what you think down in the comments, right? If it's not for you, that's fine. But I just feel like there are a lot of people who would really enjoy this. So anyways, this is the, if I didn't say it, this is the Latama. I don't recommend it. That's my honest opinion there. So you'll probably not get a review. It's just sloppy for the money there. The AGA camp ones are great though. That's going to be pretty much it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.